The rain-slicked streets of New York held their breath as I left the collector's grotesque castle. The city was a maze of shadows and secrets, and I had a new piece to the puzzle. A woman, a key, and a name whispered in the dark. Elara. The informant who gave me the tip was a jittery fellow, his eyes darting like scared birds. He said Elara frequented a little speakeasy tucked away in Greenwich Village, a place called the Velvet Shadow. He swore she was the only one who could open the collector's darkest secrets. Finding the Velvet Shadow wasn't easy. It was hidden behind a laundromat, the scent of soap and bleach masking the sweet smell of illegal gin. Inside, the air was thick with cigarette smoke and hushed conversations. A pianist played a melancholy tune that seemed to soak into the very walls. And there she was, sitting alone in the corner booth, a halo of smoke wreathing her head. She had eyes that had seen too much, a weary strength etched into her features. She clutched a small, ornate key in her hand, the same one from the informant's description. I approached her table, my detective's badge feeling heavy in my pocket. "Elara," I asked, my voice low. Her head snapped up, her gaze sharp and assessing. She didn't look surprised to see me, more resigned. "It must be the detective sniffing around the collector's business," she said, her voice a husky whisper. I nodded, pulling up a chair. "I found bones in his castle. I know he's not just a collector of art." Her face tightened. "He collects people," she confirmed, her voice trembling slightly. "My sister was one of them." The story spilled out of her, a torrent of grief and rage. Her sister, Lena, had been taken by the collector's men years ago. Elara had spent every day since then plotting her revenge, working her way into the outer circles of his network, gathering information piece by piece. The key in her hand, she explained, wasn't for a door in the castle. It was for a locker in Grand Central Station. Inside was the collector's most prized possession, a ledger. It detailed every transaction, every person bought and sold, every bribe paid. It was the key to bringing down his entire empire, and the most shocking name in that ledger, the mayor himself. He had to move fast. The collector's network had eyes everywhere. We left the Velvet Shadow through a back alley, the city's cacophony, a welcome cover for our frantic footsteps. Grand Central was a chaotic symphony of steam, whistles, and the hurried footsteps of thousands of souls. It was the perfect place to hide in plain sight. Elara led me to a bank of old brass lockers near the oyster bar. Her hand shook as she inserted the key. With a click, the small door swung open. Inside was a thick, leather-bound book, the ledger. I grabbed it, its weight feeling like the weight of every life he'd destroyed. Just as we turned to leave, two burly men in long coats blocked our path, the collector's thugs. Panic flared in Elara's eyes, but I pushed her behind me. "Run," I hissed. "Get this to the precinct. Don't stop for anyone." She hesitated, then clutched the ledger and sprinted into the crowd, disappearing like a ghost. The two men lunged for me. The ensuing fight was a blur of fists and grunts amidst the chaos of the station. I used the environment to my advantage, ducking behind a luggage cart, sending one crashing into a pile of trunks. The other came at me with a knife, the blade glinting under the station lights. I managed to disarm him, the clatter of the knife on the marble floor, lost in the station's din. By the time the transit police arrived, I had them both subdued. Back at the precinct, the ledger was laid open on my desk. It was worse than I could have imagined. Names, dates, payments, a meticulously kept record of human misery. And there it was, in black and white, payments to the mayor's private accounts, signed off with his own initials. The corruption went all the way to the top, just as Elara had said. We had him. We had them all. The arrest of the collector was quiet, almost anticlimactic. We found him in his study, surrounded by his stolen treasures, a glass of brandy in his hand. He didn't resist. He just gave me a cold, reptilian smile, as if this was all just a minor inconvenience. He seemed to believe his power and wealth would protect him. He was wrong. The grand finale was at City Hall. I walked into the mayor's opulent office, the police commissioner and two uniformed officers behind me. The mayor was on the phone, laughing, a portrait of civic virtue. When he saw us, the smile vanished from his face. "Detective Columbo," he boomed, trying to project authority. "Two, what do I owe this?" Interrupted. I didn't say a word. I simply walked to his desk and placed the open ledger right in front of him, my finger pointing to his name. The color drained from his face. He looked from the book to me, his eyes wide with disbelief and terror. The click of the handcuffs was the loudest sound in the room, a final, satisfying note in this long, dark symphony. The case of the collector was closed. The rain had stopped, and as I walked out of City Hall, a sliver of sun broke through the clouds, washing over the city. It was a new day for New York, a little cleaner, a little brighter. For the victims and their families, for Elara and the memory of her sister, justice had finally been served.